It is Sunday, February 15th, and this is the A to Z of stocks. I will not be including any gold miners or anything from the Dow, which are in separate videos. Go watch those elsewhere. So let's start with Alcoa. Oh, look at that. It's an incredible run. Basically, what? That's at 10 months straight up. Kind of like the Dow 30 itself is up for 10 months. You can argue monthly candles, a little bit spiky, especially the January candle. RSI 69, we're over borderline overbought. Well, I'd certainly say if we go back under this month's low of 55, that would be a problem because you have downside all the way to right now $40, which is it's that's a 33% drop. So I mean, you know, 10 months up, you can't keep going up. At some point, you got to get a retrace. I mean, even in this wave from 2020 to 22, you can see we had the occasional down month. Although, you know, look at the 10 MA support. So I guess the really extraordinarily loose stop would be the 10 MA, which will be I'll soon be around 45. But you know, if I was in this one, I'd have a stop at maybe 55. Anyway, let's not get bogged down in one stock because we have a few thousand to go, something like that. Airbnb, what a mess. Multi-year chop fest down 6.2%. Not a fan. Archer Aviation, uh, broken. Uh, it's exhausted itself at 1462. Ugly price action in November, and a lot of chop. A lot of it. Look at this. Attempted rally, fail. January attempted rally, fail, and we keep printing lower lows. Bearish, short term at least. I do like it in the long term, but short term it's broken. American Eagle, Sydney Sweeney. Interestingly, note that we had quite a big reversal in January, but we have leveled out at this price threshold. Isn't that interesting how that happens, right? This threshold is real important. You can argue multi-month, multi-week structure is a bull flag. So the cautious will have a stop at 22s. Zero sign of a turn on the monthly momentum charts. A bullish Miss Sweeney. AMD down 12.4%, not great. And on a monthly chart, we have a clear rollover. Still bullish momentum, but we do have a turn. And look, the last time we had a big turn was 2024, and AMD went from 227 to 76, which of course was the April low, Trump tariff low. So that's basically like a 65% drop, and we're rolling over. That's not great. That's a problem. And I would note the 10 MA 188. If we go into that, I would hear alarm bells. Yep. Yeah, this is one to watch. Even if you never trade it, it's one to watch because it's going to give you a signal. It's going to give you a potential sell signal for the main market. 188 right now. The barber, bit of a mess. January's candle was bullish engulfing, but we have a reversal. Down 8.2%. Short term, well, mid-term bullish unless we go over 10 MA, 145. So we have $10 of downside buffer. Bank of America, second month lower. We have a lower high, lower low. Alarm bells if it goes under, let's just round it down, call it $50. Anything under 50, and that's a problem because then there's nothing until around 642. monthly momentum rolled over in January. March or April is threatening a problem. Again, lower rates would be bearish for the financials, and I do expect another rate cut, but not until June. Moving on. Kimiko had earnings last Friday. It's just cooling back. Had a new strike high in January, 8.5% down. I mean, unless it goes under the 10 MA, I can't take any bearishness seriously. I would accept cyclically it's high. Oh, that's right. I was thinking about this. I was trying to think about this in relation to something else earlier. Yeah, this had earnings of like 40 odd cents, so it has a P of roughly 100 of 75. This is very expensive. And I was thinking it in context to Newmont, the gold miner, which has a P of around 12. So would you buy this with a P of 75? Or would you instead prefer Newmont with 12? I would think any normal person would go with 12s. Like, it wouldn't make any sense to be. Again, I'm not bearish Kamiko, but the valuation is crazy. I mean, this stock was 34 last April. It's gone up by a factor of 4. So bullish nuclear, bullish uranium, but the valuation is pretty crazy. Carnival 6% up. New cycle high. In fact, new multi-year high, yeah, the highest since what is that? March of 2020. Interesting. Cleveland Cliffs, not pretty. Earnings weren't good. I mean, look at it, 24.6%. That's bad. And look at these spiky candles. They're not great. Momentum threatens to turn bearish in March or April. CNX net gas, 4.5%. Deckers. I like Deckers. Very good earnings recently. It's down 3% in a month. 3 months up, a little bit cooling back. Short-term bullish unless it goes under 104. Again, momentum is prone to turning positive in either, probably not March, but certainly by April. Midterm bullish, probably 150, 160. Energy transfer. January candle was bullish engulfing. 3.5% up, bullish. Ford. Recent earnings were not great. Somehow it's still going up though, 2.8%. It's surprising. Freeport-McMoRan, the best copper miner in the world, arguably. Certainly my favorite stock anyway, favorite copper mining stock. 4.3%, still below the January high, but nothing bearish there, is there? GE Aerospace, pretty choppy, but up 2.8%. The Google, or Alphabet, I'll always call it Google, most will. New historic high, but a full and fierce downside reversal, down 9.5% on the month. That is a bearish engulfing candle. First support is at 10 MA, 255. Momentum started to roll over. That's a problem. That is not great. I mean, the last look at this. Last time we had one of those was February 25. Google went from 205, 206 to 140. That's a roughly a 28% drop. I mean, certainly you got to think the March candle's going to be red, right? What about April? 250. It's that's not to be taken lightly. That candle. If it settles it that way, of course we still have 9 trading days left in the month, but that's bearish right now. Intel, 0.7%. The January candle was very spiky. The February candle is also spiky, and it will not take much to turn that red. First support would be this line, but I don't think that would hold. You can maybe think about maybe 40 bucks. I mean, it's cyclically high. I like Intel for the long term, but these two candles are spiky. They're suggestive of short-term exhaustion. Joby, air taxis. Bearish engulfing candle in January. Lower high, lower low. Bearish short term. I like this one for the long term. I really like this one. Also, yeah, Joby raised $1 billion just last week, which is a very good long-term positive. So the stock's being diluted. The market's, because they raised capital via $1 billion of convertible corporate bonds. But yeah, short-term bearish, mid, long-term, very bullish. KB Homes, I mean, considering the housing data, which has recently been garbage, 15.8%. That's 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 one of the more surprising ones so far. Momentum, due to turn positive in actually due to turn positive in March. This is one particularly unsurprising bright spot for the bulls. In Morgan, new historic high up 7%. Look at this. I talked about this for the last couple of months. Giant bullish pennant. January candle. Bullish engulfing. It's playing out. How can you not like Kinder Morgan? Lithium Americas. You can argue price structure is a multi-month bull flag. Moving on. Lockheed, the very best, in my view, of the defense stocks. December. Actually, look at this. What was this? I asked this question. This was a bull flag. January. Massive, powerful ramp. New historic high. A little bit of chop recently, but new historic high. 2.9%. $700 looks pretty easy. Maybe 800 later this year. Can't be bearish the defense stocks, right? Bullish. Cheniere. Momentum starting to tick back upwards. Las Vegas Sands. I mean, on a multi-decade chart, it's a real mess. Meta down 10.7%. It's tied, right? It keeps breaking support. It's not. You see, this was a very powerful ramp. Look at the spikes from the 10 MA when it broke in April, bounced new historic high. But again, it broke there. Look at that candle, bearish engulfing, new cycle, well, new short-term low there, bounce. But this is a mess, and this is not great. Momentum is already negative. It turned negative a few months ago. Short-term bearish. Mosaic up 7.8%. Momentum has turned positive. Short-term bullish. MP Materials, rare earths. Note the support around the 10 MA. It's down 1.3%. Momentum is weakening, although I'd be skeptical because this is a very young stock. It's only appeared in 2020. Oh, look at that actually. Stock appeared in June of 2020 after the mayhem, and then came back down to 10. Look at this. A great retest of the initial low. And then of course when there was rare earth hysteria. Look at that. $10, August 24. Hyper spike, October 2025, and yeah, school back, got cut in half. I like this one for the long term. Got to be bullish magnets. Morgan Stanley rolling over the rest of the financials. This is a problem, and that does remind me of actually before I forget, I should highlight 3 private equity stocks: Blue Owl Capital, KKR, and Blackstone. So let's do that right now. Okay, Blue Hour Capital down 9.8%, 12.30. This is horrible. There's lots of talk about this one imploding. I would keep in mind the all-time low is 702 from October 22. Zero sign of a floor. Look at the volume. Monster. Look, we still have 9 days left of the month, and volume is already at historic highs. There's a problem here. There is a big, big problem. Absolutely bearish. The other stock, KKR, new historic high last January. Big collapse with the Trump tariff low. We rally, but we put in a lower high. Look at this. Look at these spikes. These are sell signals. These are lower highs, lower lows, and we're down 11% for the month. This isn't pretty, right? Next support is the April low of 85. Under that, the 40s. Bearish. The third stock, Blackstone. New historic high, November of 24. Trump tariff low 111. Ramps, but like the other ones, puts in a lower high. Another spike. Look at the selling spike in January. Bearish. February, down 7.8%. Next support is 111. Monthly momentum showing zero sign of a turn. That's a problem. So yeah, bearish private equity stocks. Moving on from Morgan Stanley, Micron, down 0.8%. It's had an insane run from 61s, 455. Memory prices, of course, are up 3, 4, 500%. Momentum's on the extremely high end. I mean, look at these other cycles. This recent run makes all these other up waves look like nothing. Great company, great products, but I think the cautious will leave it alone. Netflix, oh yeah. So maxed out 134. Then it turned bearish, or became midterm broken in October, and we're just steadily falling, down 7.9%. There will be, I understand, there will be a vote on the bid at Warner Brothers in March. Not sure when in March, but this bid for Warner Brothers is an overhang on the stock. It's why it's struggling. But Netflix is a profitable company now. It's doing fine. The growth rate is still pretty good. And yep, original target of $70 is on track. We could easily print that before the end of the month, or maybe not until March or April. But in theory, we should form a floor around here. I would be surprised if we go much under 70. Momentum is on the low side, and we're due a turn. Moving on, Occidental, a real chop fest. I mean, it briefly collapsed, recovered, and that's stuck around here again. A breakdown. I mean, oil prices are cheap. That's a problem. Not great. Not great at all. Pfizer, I'm not a fan. Up 4.3%. It's bullish, but I can think of a dozen better companies and more ethical companies than this one. Palantir. Now, there's huge talk, of course, from Michael Berry on X about this one. And, you know, look at this. November candle, new historic high. Settled, bearish engulfing. Failed bounce in December. January, failed rally, bearish engulfing candle. February, failed rally, sold it off. And now we're already down another 10% on the month. We're now testing key price threshold around 125. Under 125, next support is 100, which is 31, well, call it 30% down. I'm not sure how low Michael Berry is targeting, but there's nothing bullish there. And on a monthly chart, this is terrible. We haven't even turned negative on momentum yet, but we are due. We've got to turn negative by the end of the month or as of the beginning of March. This looks bearish for a few months. Am I short? No. Would I be long? Hell no. But yeah, that is hella bearish for Palantir. Michael Berry is it's playing out. I can't emphasize enough. That little spike there. That is very bearish. Peloton. If anything, it's a reminder of a flatlining zombie stock. PayPal. Horrible. Look at this. I need to almost expand. When was actually, you know what? I'll just do it now. When was the last time it was this low? There we go. I mean, look at this. I mean, the all-time low apparently was in August 2015, 29.89. There's the COVID hysteria, 309, and we're 40. There's nothing good here. Note the volume. The volume's increasing. People are getting real spooked by this. They're really starting to get concerned. But yeah, that's horrible. Bearish. Transocean, it's up 31%. I don't know what to make of that. It is the highest level in a year or so, year and a half. I there's just so many better energy stocks out there. Rocket Lab, January, new historic high, 99s. We've cooled back 15% on the month, 67s. I like this one for the midterm. Maybe it'll come down to the 10 MA again. Currently 52s. Momentum's on the high end. I like this one a lot for the midterm. Rumble, dead money. Schwab, recent concern about AI competition. New historic high, 107s. Down 9.5%, 93s. Bearish engulfing candle. Testing the 10 MA. This is not good. Momentum, prone to turning negative in either March or April. Support under this 10 MA, 73. $20 down, 23%. Not good. Schlumberger, faring better than Occidental, 4.8%. Momentum turned positive in January. NuScale Power, my favorite nuclear stock, currently down 18% in the 14s. You can argue it's floor building, but there's nothing bullish here. The only concern would be if the main market cools into the spring, this one will be get ground down back to at least maybe $10, or 11 or 10 maybe. I like this for the long term. Target, solid gains, almost 11%. Yeah, look at that. Broke upwards. It's very subtle. Little mini breakout in December, confirmed in January, powering upwards. Bullish, 145, 150 in my view. Momentum has also turned positive. This looks good. Tesla, new historic high, December, 498. Really cooled back, testing the 10 MA. The underlying problem, of course, is the fact that consumers broken, car sales are subdued globally. Momentum has been rolling over since December. might turn positive, might turn negative in probably not March, but maybe April. It's not great. Of course, the attention really will be on SpaceX, which will be due to IPO in June. That's the current estimation, maybe July. And then the chatter is that maybe, well, from what I understand, that there is a serious underlying background push that once SpaceX gets uh, listed, that there will be a push to maybe have SpaceX merge with Tesla into one gigantic conglomerate worth a couple of trillion, actually maybe 3 trillion. Yeah, hell, actually maybe even 3 or 4 trillion. It could even be the biggest listed company in the world eventually. It does appear that that's where Elon, from what I understand, that's where Elon wants to do, and he wants to do it for voting rights. Uh, it is what it is, but short term Tesla's not great. We're getting there. Taiwan Semicon up 10%, new historic high, bullish. Take two. Grand Theft Auto 6 due in November. Stock's down 12%. Look at this. We got really stuck around 260. The January candle, bearish engulfing under Patename. February, just follow through. This is bad. Stock momentum has turned negative. There is zero reason not to expect further downside in March, April. Support around 140. So we're talking about another $53 down. And from what I understand, after reading around, seeing a few videos, it appears that Rockstar, who are owned by Take-Two, Rockstar fired all of the people who did the original Grand Theft Auto franchise, and now they're just left with a bunch of blue-haired, nose-ring wokesters, and this could be a disaster for the company. If they have made a wokeified Grand Theft Auto, then they could have killed their cash cow. In which case, what's this worth? $90? 30? We will. I mean, we clearly have to wait until November, but some of the chatter is very concerning, and this is a short-term top, and we're plunging. United Airlines, 6.8%. I will say these candles are pretty spiky and they're bearish. There's a spiky bearish candle there. Down we went. Spiky. Momentum is marginally positive. It won't take much to turn this negative. Uber, month 5 down. Bearish. Uranium Energy, much like Kamiko, just cooling back. UPS, I talked about this a lot in December. I went long, New Year's Eve, $99. It's now 119. No real resistance at around 130. So, bullish. Warner Brothers, set to be purchased by Netflix. Again, you can argue structure's a bull flag, but it's clearly going to get bought out for roughly $30, right? How many more we got to go? 2. Wells Fargo, 2 spiky candles, short-term bearish. And finally, Exxon. Much like Chevron, you see the big push, consolidation, and off we go again. New strike high in January, new strike high February, 155. Very bullish. Yep, bullish. So there's some mixed names. Um, there's some mixed disparity between some of these stocks, as is normal. You don't want all the stocks going up and all of them going down. It's okay to have a mixture. My only concern is, of course, this is just one index. There are some of them don't look the same. Monthly momentum's weakening. March, April look problematic. It's possible that we level out around the zero threshold. like we did in October 23. Now, of course, October's is a typical time when the market will floor. Not every month, not every October, but often. But we're not in October, we're only in February. So the fact that we're getting momentum weakening, and clearly, look, these candles all pretty narrow range. The last three are, I mean, that was a bounce. But these past three candles are narrow range. And you can absolutely argue December, January, February. What's March got a candle going to be? Is the March candle going to be like this, down to there? And then are we going to get an April candle down to that, maybe lower Bollinger trend line? I mean, that's my concern. Definitely, there's a weakening. We're not going up. There's an underlying weakening right now. But anyway, some of those things were interesting. As ever, if you like my work, subscribe. And on that note, I wish you a restful Monday. And do not look at the futures. Do not look at the European or Asian markets. Of course, China's closed for 6 trading days. Just go watch a movie and be good.